to see that you made it. To say showing up is probably maybe 90% of what's required in life to be successful. On the morning after the gala dinner, it falls to me to ease you into the day with a discussion about data insights. And I suppose maybe there are some of you out there who are disappointed that you didn't win last night. And well, you know, there are still reasons to be cheerful. At least this session isn't about SCA, you know. So before diving into the topic, we hope this works. Yeah. Before diving into the topic, a little bit of context. AIB Merchant Services is a joint venture between Fiserv, a global giant in payment processing, and AIB Bank, which is the largest retail bank in Ireland. And AIBMS are the largest acquirer in Ireland. We have about 30% of the market in both card present and card not present. And AIB Bank have about 40% of the issuing market. So we're also, AIBMS is also the 5th largest e-commerce acquirer in Europe. So we handle about 2 billion transactions a year to a value of about 100 billion euros. So I give you that context because it gives you a sense of our position in the market, the amount of data we have about the market, and consequently what we can do with those data sets. And the last piece of context I want to give you is that I'm not a data privacy lawyer, thanks be to God, and I'm not an expert in AI. It seems about every second person is an expert in AI. I'm not. So I'm standing here this morning as, I suppose, a practitioner, and I'm going to base my presentation on some practical work we did to develop and roll out a data analytics product to our merchants. So with that context I gave you, we have a load of data, given that we have 30% of the issuing market and the bank, or of the acquiring market, and the bank has 40% of the issuing market. When you combine those two data sets, in the context of Ireland, let's just take that for a moment, we have the market under a microscope. When you have that level of data, that level of first-party data, then there's lots that you can do in terms of using that data to generate a product which can inform business decision making. So when we talk about data-driven decision making, I suppose the best way to go about this is to give you a practical example. So there's a small town on the south of Dublin called Terranure, means the land of the yew trees. And you know, it's a reasonably large, I suppose, urban village, and we have quite a few merchants in that area. One of them is a butcher, so we decided to use him in our data analytics trial, and we rolled out the portal to him, and he was shocked to realise that a lot of his customers weren't from the catchment area that he thought they were from, and we were able to show him a heat map of where his customers came from, based on combining that issuing and acquiring data that I spoke about to you earlier. And so in terms of making data-driven decisions, he said, well, we've got to do something about this. I don't have the kind of market share and customer base in various parts of my catchment area that I thought I had. So through the use of Google Ads and through the use of traditional, you know, flyers, over a period of several weeks, he decided he was going to change that. And he could see the cause and effect. He could see the impact of what he was doing in terms of his Facebook page and in terms of dropping flyers in the area. that it was able to change that heat map and get more customers in his local area. So, you know, that's a very simple example of the power of data. So, you know, what is first-party data? Well, essentially, again, going back to my example, the issuing bank have lots and lots of static demographic data, so addresses, gender, date of birth, and in some cases, obviously, you know, the socioeconomic level at which customers are at. And the bank and ourselves have an enormous amount of transactional data. So we can see where people are spending, how much they're spending, and what they're spending it on. So, you know, together we have a lot of demographic data and live data in terms of customer behaviors. So, you know, as I referred to in my last example, in that case, the butcher was able to use, you know, the data that we were exposing to him to actually see not only the location of his customers, but the age profile and gender of customers. And we have other examples. In Dublin, we have, indeed countrywide, we have a fairly traditional department store, which has a number of branches around the country. And we also use them in the trial of our data analytics product. And one of the things that they noted from what we showed them was that the age profile of their customers was worryingly high. And they came to the conclusion, unless we do something here, we're not going to have any customers because they're all going to be dead. So they use that information to you know, change their whole stance, not only in terms of advertising and promotion, but also in terms of the whole look and feel of their store, and also the goods that they were stocking in order to you know, to refresh their customer base. So now for the bad news. Now, I did say before I started that I'm not a lawyer or a data privacy expert, so I don't want any nasty questions about the exact provisions of GDPR or the Data Protection Act. But I put this slide up to show that, and again reflecting on our own experience, the easiest part of this initiative that we ran in building the Main Street Insights product was the technical development and the building of the analytical tools. The most difficult part of the project was the legal aspects of it, and the amount of attention that had to be paid to the Data Protection Act, the codes published by the Data Protection Commissioner, and you know, the general provisions around data privacy, around user consent, and regulations around the use of data. And what I would say for anybody embarking on this is that it's only going to get harder. It would appear from, you know, some of the papers that are coming out of the EU, less so the UK, that the emphasis will be on the governance side. And if any of you got your edition of, sorry about that, if anybody got their edition of the Financial Times this morning, we can see how topical this is. There's a couple of articles on page 8 about chatbot, and I'm sure some of my more technically able colleagues will make references to some of that. I'm going to push on here because what I'm going to do is to try to bring this live to you by showing you a presentation which I think will speak far better to the topic than I can here. So we're going to move on, and if I get the slide right, the video will now come up shortly. So I think this is a fantastic product, and I hope you agree.
At AIB Merchant Services, we understand that the everyday tools and how you use them are what can set your business apart from others. But we also get that you only have one pair of hands, and juggling everything else can be overwhelming. With Main Street Insights, everything you need to know about your business is right at your fingertips, helping you to save time by giving you access to data that can help grow your business. Think of it as a business partner, one that's there to help you get more out of all the hard work you've already put in. Here's how it works. When you first log in, you'll automatically be brought to the My Dashboard tab. This gives you an overview of your business's revenue, allowing you to see how much money you're making by week, month, and year. The goal indicator ring on your left displays your day-to-day progress towards your own sales goal. Then, in the progress boxes, you have your ticket size, which shows you the average transaction amount for that period, how many of those transactions are from new customers, as well as returning customers. Hovering over each one will give you a handy comparison against the previous period, like upcoming key holiday dates, weather revenue predictions, and how your revenue growth compares to similar businesses. Certain story cards can be expanded for a more detailed breakdown. The My Store tab gives you a complete visual timeline of your business history, allowing you to easily access bar charts and tables related to revenue, transaction count, and ticket size, which can be broken into monthly, weekly, and daily visualizations. At the bottom of the My Store screen, we have the time interval slider, which allows you to easily change the time period displayed in the bar chart above. This slider is particularly handy for identifying trends and transaction patterns, as you can quickly compare your store to your own business over the last year, or even better, similar businesses to yours. The comparison to similar businesses is aggregated using the 10/20 ruling, ensuring no competitor sales figures or revenue can be identified through the platform. Further detail on the 10/20 ruling is covered within the user guide. In the My Bookmarks tab, you'll find an easily searchable bank of all your bookmarks, so you can check every little piece of detail that's important to your business, including stories that are of particular interest. To add a bookmark, click on the Add Bookmark button at the top to fill in any detail that's important to you. The My Customers tab lets you visualize customer habits, like how far they've traveled to get to your store, how many times they've visited, how much they're spending, as well as how many transactions they've made. At the bottom of the screen, you can see transaction metrics to give you an easy-to-read view of spending trends. This data can also be separated into specific subgroups by clicking on the Customer Type tab. Here, you can see the habits of locals, non-locals, returning customers, as well as new ones, allowing you to get a much clearer sense of who's spending what and when. The customer insight provided is based on your entire customer base and their spending patterns, and does not provide any information that could be used to identify individual customers for data privacy reasons. My Neighbourhood is a great tool for getting a bird's eye view of customer behaviour within a 100-kilometre radius of your business, which is represented by the blue pin. From the map, you can get a general sense of where your customers spend and where they live, based on their spending patterns. On the Where Customers Spend tab, the coloured tiles show an approximate euro volume and location where your customers spend the most, with red representing the highest. While on the Where Customers Live tab, the coloured tiles represent population density, with red representing the highest. The My Neighbourhood section is an estimate of where customers live based on their spending patterns and are displayed as hexagons on the map. In order for a hexagon to be shown, there must be at least 10 customers estimated to live within that area. On the My Social Media tab, you'll have the ability to see all of your social channels in one place, so you can see what customers are saying about your business and how you can best engage with them. There are 3 tabs on the left-hand side of the page: What People Say, which shows comments made by customers, My Posts, which shows your own social posts on your channels, and Analytics, which gives you a better idea of what users are top influencers for your business. And that's just a sample of what Main Street Insights is capable of. The potential it has to help you grow your business is huge, but just like running a business, the more you put into it, the more you'll get out. For more of a deep dive into how it works, or any questions relating to how we use data to provide these insights, visit www.aibms.com/Main Street Insights.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just to conclude, I hope you can see the power of what can be done with first-party data, the benefits that it can bring to customers. And I think, lots of people in this room who either run PSPs or acquirers have lots of data. And I think we, from the experience of what we've done, have proven to ourselves that it's possible to build out and to use data to improve overall engagement with customers, retain clients. We've certainly have used this product as very much as an anti-attrition tool, because nobody else in the market has this depth of data and can provide these kinds of insights. So we see this as part of our drive to go beyond pure acquiring and pure transaction processing. And earlier this week there was a reference our acquirers dinosaurs, and the answer is if an acquirer cannot adapt and go beyond pure acquiring and pure processing, potentially they are dinosaurs. And this has been our drive to move beyond the transaction and to move into a relationship of partnership with our clients, engaging with them and giving them the kind of data that they need to run their business. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Hubert.